The masses gather here to speak their piece. Some fall to the wolves. Others struggle and rise above them all. Enter into the sinister mind of our host. Dive deeper than any mortal has gone before. BODS Mayhem Hour is upon us.
This is Doug, the vocalist from Huxley, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Hour, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father. And as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a huge privilege to welcome Mr. Doug Goldspiel. He is the vocalist of Huxley, New Jersey-based heavy rock band. Huxley have released their singles of Flesh and Bone, Hate Me, and Second Chances. And we got Doug on here to talk about all this good stuff of Huxley. So, Doug, welcome to the podcast. How you doing, man?
Hey, man. Thanks so much. I'm doing great.
How excited is the band to have these 3 singles out right now? And how's the feedback so far on these?
Honestly, we're really excited. It's so rare because, doing music for so long, it takes so long to really compile songs that you really love, and the fact that these 3 are out right now, these 3 have been one we've gotten to work with great different guys. Hate Me was written with Kane Shirko, who does a lot of stuff for Five Finger Death Punch, and then Flesh and Bone was written with Ricky Amanito. Oh, I'm probably killing his name, but he's the other guitarist from Ice Nine Kills. And then Second Chance is kind of all of ours. So we got to get 2 different spectrums, and then us, and it's really exciting. And the feedback's been great on it.
Jeez, man, you worked with Ice Nine Kills. How was working with that? Working with who was it again? I'm sorry,
Ricky. Yeah,
Ricky. I was working with him.
Really great. I mean, our other guitarist, Chris, right now is the other guitarist in Ice Nine. So they established a relationship. Ricky is just the nicest dude in the world. Being a vocalist, it really takes some getting used to work with somebody in the studio. And with him, it was immediately relaxed, and I felt good. And it makes you feel good as you're singing. So working with him was honestly one of the best moments I've ever had recording.
What led the track Hate Me to be the first track released from you guys, man? What was it about this song that said, yeah, that's one that has to be coming out swinging?
I think when you listen to the song, it gives you that coming out swinging feeling, right? The song's all about people who haven't believed in us. We were always kind of the band that people, I guess in my sense, I felt like people took advantage of, or kind of thought that we were, just a normal rock band or just radio rock, and Hate Me was kind of that homage to them, where it was dude, I don't care what you think, this is what we're made for. This is the sound of Huxley, and we're not going anywhere. And so something about that song just was we need to get this out. We need people to feel if you're on the Huxley train, welcome. And if you're not, we don't care,
Are these all brand new songs, or songs that didn't make a previous album or an EP from you guys? Were these left in the vault, or no, these all brand new?
That's a good question, because it's a mixture of both. Because what kind of happened for Huxley is we released right at the beginning of COVID. So that first 5-song EP we put out came out. We did really well. A lot of people liked it. And then the world shut down. And then you have 2 years where you're trying to figure out, what do you do? How do you stay relevant? This and that. So we worked on a lot of stuff kind of remotely, but we really never got to releasing anything because nothing kind of felt right. And then we got this opportunity to fly out to Vegas and work with Kane, which was what we did with Hate Me. And that was kind of the spark we needed. And we took that song and we ran with it, and that was a new one. And then Second Chances was one of those songs that we had in the vault that we kind of refreshed and like revitalized. And then we worked with Ricky after he heard those first two songs. He was like, yeah, I'd like to get involved. I'd like to do a co-write with you guys. And that's where Flesh and Bone kind of came about.
So are you guys writing for a new EP, or are we looking at a full length down the road, or what's going on right now?
You know, the way the music kind of industry is working right now, singles is kind of the way to go. And it's not really my favorite way of doing it. But what you find just, you know, especially a band like us that's growing and trying to collect more fans, having a constant content coming out every few months, new songs, something new to hold on to, kind of works a little better than giving all 5-6 songs at once. So there's a lot of stuff kind of that we're working on, a lot of new stuff that's kind of on the back burner that we're talking about, and then hopefully we can work a couple more co-writes with some people. But we're going to kind of continue on that single territory until I guess something feels right and we maybe put it all together.
Out of these 3 tracks, which one totally ended up sounding different than it was intended to? Which one changed the most, if anything, possibly, when it was brought to the table?
Wow, that's a good question. And I'm honest on this because they all change. So what's really cool about Huxley is that we are very fluid with our songs. So I say this a bunch in interviews, is that I work with 4 really, really talented guys. So one of us will have an idea and then we'll kind of build on it and it'll change a lot. And so with Hate Me, the song was kind of way different before we went to Vegas. And then when we sat down with Kane, I had the line, hate me because I'm made for this. That was like the biggest line in my head that I wanted to work on. And so the song kind of branched off of that. And we kind of wound up changing some things and rewriting the chorus while we were there. And that allowed us to kind of get a new idea and identity where Second Chances came about. And we kind of did the same thing. And then Flesh and Bone wound up being a months-long process because Ricky and Chris were on tour. So we were back and forth. I would sing in this mic here. I would sing a couple lines and I would send it over to them. And they'd be like, no, not good enough. And they'd send me an idea. And I'd be like, nah, I like that, but I don't like this. And it was like back and forth until I got to go into the studio with them. And then even then it changed. So they all kind of changed a lot. So that's a really good question.
I got to step back here for just a minute and ask you about this. How much fuel did that add to your guys' fire? Other people just kind of snickered and said, yeah, you're just, run the mill rock bands that's out here right now. How much did that fuel your fire to say, like, I'll show you?
It fuels it a lot, honestly. I mean, look, vocally, I am so blessed on how I've gotten to grow over time, but I was not always the best vocalist, and I really took a lot of heat, and for me to really kind of get back in the studio and work on my own and really, hone my craft. It feels good to really go out there and feel confident about what we're doing and show the people that, had stuff to say. One guy, this is 10 years ago, but it burns in my memory. He's like,
Sure. Yeah.
I like that you have a whale as a singer, and like, those things, like, I see them and I use them as fuel, like, and it made me better and it makes us better. And it really does put kindling. And, for all the people that love us, we love them. And all the people that hate us, we love them too.
Yeah, man, because they're the ones that keep fueling your fire. And then that's why you're still here. It's like Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath didn't learn guitar overnight, or,
Right.
Or Randy Rhoads or, I don't know, Zakk Wylde, all these guys, they, all these vocalists didn't just become a vocalist overnight. They didn't just have that voice overnight. It took time to hone that craft. So kudos for you, man, because I tell everybody, I do interviews. I love doing these interviews, but sometimes, man, you got to have a thick skin.
Yes. Yes.
You got to have a thick skin because it happens to the best of us and it sucks. But you know what? That fuels us to do better,
I always try to convince myself that for every one person that doesn't like us, there's about 10 others that do.
Yep.
And And I think that's okay, right? Like even in my daily life, like food, for instance, right? Like I could hate a food and somebody else, that could be their favorite food, like it happens. And so if anybody has something negative to say, fine, that's fine. But it's only going to make me try harder.
Any track standing out more to you than any right now that you can talk about? I know these are your babies, but are there any that stick out for you possibly, man?
The ones that are released, I really think Flesh and Bone, I know it's our newest song, but I really think this song has done a lot for us. I think before Flesh and Bone, we were at a point of grinding where we were like, what do we do next? It was, things were getting stale, things were getting harder, just life, and when we came out with Flesh and Bone, when we really got Flesh and Bone done, it really changed the dynamic of Huxley, right? We are happier now. We feel confident now. And it's something about that song that was kind of the mantra that we needed to really keep pushing. It allowed us to get our spot on MMRBQ, which is a local radio station's festival here, where we got to play with Disturbed and Pretty Reckless and Crowbots and Living Color and all a bunch of great bands, Lilith Czar, and I really think Flesh and Bone really did that for us. And then, songs that aren't released, we have one called Super Zero, which my wife actually really loves. And she's probably my biggest critic and biggest fan, and that song, I can't wait to release that to the world because it really does mean a lot to me. It's a great song and I'm excited for it.
Well, let's just throw this out here. Would you say this is your redemption album pretty much for these new songs coming out for you personally?
Yeah, I think so, especially because we got stopped when we started. Like the pandemic was hard on everybody. And, every interview everywhere, everybody's like, oh, the pandemic's hard. Yes. Yeah. It was hard. And for us, to try to get started and we put a lot of effort into our release for it to immediately get stopped, it was, it sucked, like we lost band members. We had to rethink what we were doing. And we're now finally feeling like we're hitting our stride, and this is the redemption we needed and that motivation to keep going.
Hate Me was co-written, like you said, with legendary producer Kane Churko, and video was directed and filmed by Cyrus Hinsman. But working with Kane, how much did you learn from him working on Hate Me and doing other stuff with him? How much have you guys learned from him?
Kane is the nicest guy that I've ever met. It's very intimidating walking into that studio. Chris, our guitarist, was the one who kind of established that relationship. So I had not even gotten to talk to him before walking into his studio. So it's intimidating walking in there and you see all the platinum records on the wall and beautiful studio. And then we sit down with him and he's just the nicest guy and he wants to help. And I learned so much. He helped us with lyrically to kind of get us better on track. He helped us on, musically kind of think about different things and ways of going about it. And I think our writing exponentially got better just by sitting in that room with him. And any chance that I could possibly have to work with him again, I would take in a heartbeat. He was that cool and that great.
I know that we went through this pandemic and I hate that we're still going through it and we lost a lot of great people, during this stupid thing. But did the pandemic actually help the band to take more time to be more creative on what you guys wanted to do and what direction you wanted your sound to go to?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, we lost some band members in the process of the pandemic and stopping our release. And that allowed us to kind of open the door to really kind of figure out who we wanted in the band and what direction to really take it. And without that opportunity, and even though all those things of losing those band members who were friends, they're still friends to this day, like I could call them up right now. But losing them because of life and those kind of things, we were step back and just reevaluate what Huxley could be and how we wanted to go about getting there. And so like that process, like I said, backlog songs. Like we have a ton of songs backlog. They all need to be reworked on and gone over the process and everything. But like we're now not behind the eight ball anymore. Before it was like chasing to get to where you need to be, and now we feel like we're kind of on top of things, and we can kind of let the music and the social media and the music videos just kind of come naturally instead of being a forced kind of what's going to happen next kind of experience.
So are those songs going to see the light of day, or just don't know as of yet?
I would say some of them will. There's a couple that the more you listen to them, you're like, all right, this song is just too young. It just is not there. And by the time that it really gets there, it will be a whole new song. But like Second Chances, even What Have I Done was one of those. Super Zero, which I talked about coming out, and possibly a song called The Dance, which is a ton of fun, but kind of not sort of our style, but it is a blast. Those songs should get there.
So how do you feel like pushing yourselves outside that box of your comfort zone of like, okay, this is Huxley, this is our sound, but this song kind of throws that wrench in there for everybody to say, what the hell's that?
I really hope The Dance sees the light of day. It is ridiculous. The song is just about dancing, and I think that if we did it, it would be just a lot of fun. But we'll see. It all depends on the comfort level of the guys. Just kind of reading our audience and seeing how they would respond to something like that. And hopefully people will like it, because I really think it would be a good time to release something like that.
What's the growth musically you've seen from yourself personally and this new, formation of this band that's came together? What's the growth that you've seen so far, possibly?
I think it's a lot, right? I think it comes with maturity too, right? Like it's a group of guys on the same mindset. When you get in a band, that's always the hardest thing to kind of establish is that same mindset. And now it's like when you look around the room and you're having a conversation, the conversation is always the same, right? Like everybody agrees on the same things, and we're striving for the same goal. And musically, like you can hear it, right? When you listen to the first EP and listen to songs like If I Ruled the World and Evil and Regression, they're great songs, but like you put it next to Flesh and Bone and you go, wow, like there was growth there. And I think that's because you sit down with people and you really work out that process correctly.
I know you said you played your local radio station's barbecue there at your hometown, but what's your guys' thoughts on getting on the road and getting out there and taking this out on the road with the pandemic and everything still going on? What's your thoughts about that?
We would absolutely love it. We want the right experience, though. It's really difficult. We're, 5 guys that have jobs and lives and homes to pay for. And so it's hard because when you're younger, right, when you're 16, 18, you're like, I'll go out, I'll make nothing. Yeah. That's not a problem, So there's a little bit of that, right, where it's like, it's horrible that you're like, the money has to be right in some way. But at the same rate, it's like the opportunity has to be right too. There's a lot of bands out there that are looking for, a band that's got kind of spark and kind of the come up in them to kind of accompany them. And we're hoping that, with the waves that we can hopefully make locally can translate to maybe nationally.
What do you hope everyone takes away while listening to these songs of Huxley's, or just anything in Huxley in general, man? What do you hope they get from it once they start listening to it? Sure.
One of the big things that we talk about is we want Huxley to be more of a family than to just be the rock band. I think music is such an important part in my life and others as well. And we don't want people to listen and be like, well, this is just a rock band playing rock songs. We want them to kind of, right, like when I write my lyrics, I'm always writing about something that's maybe personal or something that, I feel it could be reach out to a larger audience in an experience that I had. But I also want you to kind of take away what you're getting from it, right? Like I might have written something about, a friend who's struggling with drug addiction, but you might listen to it and it could be about your struggle with whatever is going on in your life. And I think music is great for that, where I can write a song, and as long as it's connecting to you and you can feel part of the family and part of that song in whatever way you take from it, I think that's what Huxley is really about, of just getting that experience of feeling like there's someone out there that is talking to you and talking to the experiences that you might be having.
Being a somewhat kind of a new band, do you find it frustrating to get music to put out because everything's so saturated now? Do you find it frustrating, or do you find it as more of a good challenge?
A little bit of both. I mean, like the world is all about those numbers now, right? Like even when you look at sports, right, it's all about the statistics, and so you need your YouTube to do well. You need your Spotify to do well, your iTunes. And so it's all about, how you can market that, without, you never want to buy fake views. You never want to buy fake listeners, because that's bad, right?
Yep.
You want to make sure that what you're doing is getting out to real people and getting those real experiences, right? And getting those comments and things like that. So it's hard. Like, I like the challenge, but I wish it was a little easier to show people, because I feel like the more people that hear it, the more people would feel that connection to Huxley.
You are correct, sir, with the grind on YouTube, because I've just now hit 801 subscribers, and I see other ones that are blowing up. And I'm going, something's not right here.
Yeah.
I feel very confident in my interviews that I do and my questions. But it's a grind. You have to keep on it. And it's frustrating, very frustrating at times, but I love doing this, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah. And I kind of feel like there's always bubbles, right? Like, the hardest thing is to get to, let's say 1,000, and then it's 10, and it's 15. And like, I feel like it goes like that. And like, once you burst through one bubble, it's like this huge skyrocket, and you feel good. And then you're like at that next bubble, and it kind of sucks, but let's hope goals.
Let's hope, man. That's my goals, to hit 1,000 and then 5,000. That's just little goals, but slowly but surely, man, that grind, hopefully one day it's gotta happen. It's gotta happen.
It's gotta. I have to say, these questions have been awesome. They really made me think.
I appreciate that. I know you've had a lot of music growing up, but I know you still have a lot of music today that you still listen to. But do you have a go-to album or a song that you find yourself going back to and listening to from time to time that you just cannot kick out, Doug? You've got to have it.
Yeah. My I say it all the time. Coheed and Cambria. They get me at every moment, it's so crazy, because I'll listen to whatever album, like it could be In Keeping Secrets. It could be No World for Tomorrow. It could be, their earlier stuff, Ascension, Dissension. Even, I don't know how much Coheed you know, but the, what is it? The Black Rainbow. When that came out, I was like, this is the worst album ever. And now I listen back, I was like, this is brilliant. So, anything Coheed, I'm always listening.
They're concept albums, and they're great.
Yes.
And I don't know if the new one has released or if they're still working on it. I'm not 100% sure on it, but I know that they were doing something with a new album.
Yeah. A couple singles have come out from it. All of them have been great. That's my absolutely biased opinion. But I think that comes out pretty soon, actually. So
the way to Doug's heart is get him Coheed and Cambria tickets. There you go, folks.
Yes, it is.
Folks, get out and check out Huxley's songs, Flesh and Blood, Hate Me, and Second Chances. Give this band a fair shot, and I guarantee you will like them. Guarantee it. Doug, how can folks stay in touch with Huxley? Everything that you guys are doing, merchandise, tour dates, all that good stuff when it happens. How can you do that, sir?
Yeah, it's really, we try to make it as easy as possible. We have a link tree set up, and it gives you the opportunity to go anywhere and everywhere Huxley that you want to go. So the link tree is just linktr.ee/Huxley Band.
And before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for my show, sir?
Absolutely. This is Doug, the vocalist from Huxley, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour. please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link and our YouTube link. And drop us a like on YouTube link. Not a like, just subscribe and click at that bell so that way you get all notifications of what's going on, because I have some great stuff coming down the pipe for you. And also, I'm affiliated with Form Obscura. That is an online magazine where you can go check out album reviews, obscure art, great stuff by Riley and Jason. Also, you want to check out Metal Incorporated, I'm affiliated with, and Diary of the Madman, the Ultimate Ozzy Osbourne podcast. Trust me, Dan and Josh know everything about Ozzy. His shirt size, shoes, all that stuff. Kind of creepy, but good stuff. Good stuff. Also, please get out and check out Huxley. Like I said, Flesh and Blown, Hate Me, Second Chances, all that stuff. Man, I guarantee that you'll like this band. So, Doug, I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck, and you're always welcome back on here, my friend.
Thank you so much. I'd love to come back.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.